Alright, this is quiz 7 study guide. Problems 1 and 2, those are coming from a couple weeks ago. We talked about angle pairs. Alright, so let's review here a little bit. I believe in number 1, they're asking for alternate name. Identify a pair of alternate exteriors. So if we're looking at alternate exterior, in this picture, can someone give me an example of alternate exterior angles? Yes, sir. 1 and 5, very good. So 1 and 5 is one pair. What's another pair in that picture? Yes, sir. Go ahead. 2 and 6, very good. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. All right, number 2, 3 pairs of corresponding angles. Let's get somebody else involved. I mean, I appreciate your corresponding angles. 1 pair of corresponding angles. Somebody? 1 and 7, very good. Another pair? 8 and 6, very good. 8 and 6. Another pair?
2 and 4.
Very good. And the last pair?
3 and 5.
Beautiful, 3 and 5. Let's see. It's not in here, but it may be on tomorrow's quiz, because when I push the button to kind of change the values in the question, they may ask for same side interior. All right, how about a pair of same side interior angles in this picture? 3 and 4, very good. And Isaiah, what's the other pair? 8 and 7. Okay. And finally, alternate interior angles in this diagram. 1 pair of alternate interior angles in that diagram. Good, 3 and 7. And what's the other pair of alternate interior angles in there? 8 and 4, good. Okay. So that's number 1 and 2 of the multiple choice there. And then there's a numeric response, number 1. And it says that an isosceles triangle has a perimeter of 50. So if you take and draw an isosceles triangle, and yesterday we defined isosceles triangles as those with 2 congruent sides. Alright, so there's an isosceles triangle because 2 of the sides are equal to each other. The congruent sides measure 2x plus 3. So what they're telling you is that this left side is 2x plus 3. And that this right side is also 2x plus 3. The length of the third side is 4x. So the bottom, or the base, is 4x. And let's see. The triangle has a perimeter of 50. So the perimeter of this whole thing is equal to 50, and they're asking you to find the value of x. So you got to find out what x equals here. If they're telling you that the perimeter equals 50, that means the distance all the way around this triangle is equal to 50. Which means if you add this to this to this, if you add the 3 sides together, it's got to equal 50. Okay? So what is 2x plus 4x? Plus 2 more x? 8x. So you got 8x. And what is 3 plus 3? It's 6. So 8x plus 6 is all the sides added together, right? And what does it got to equal? 50. So that's your setup. So if you subtract 6 from each side, 8x will equal 44. And if you divide by 8, then x equals 5.5. So does everybody understand that setup? If they tell you what the perimeter is, then you take the three expressions for the sides, combine them, and set it equal to the perimeter that they give you, and then solve for x. Below that it says matching, and you've got you've got 5 matching problems, which is vocabulary. Those you're going to have to just, I would make sure that you know the definitions for acute triangle. All right, what is, let's just review that real quick. What's an acute triangle? Anybody remember from yesterday?
Both sides equal? No, it's less than 90. Is it less than 90?
An acute triangle, that is 3 acute angles. 3 acute angles, right? How about equilateral?
Oh, when the 3 sides are congruent.
Very good. Look, equal. It's got the word equal in it, right? Equilateral is all the sides are the same. All right? Sides are the same. Sides are the same length. A right triangle. 1 90-degree angle, isn't it? Remember the symbol for that? That's your symbol for 90 degrees. So that's a right triangle. Obtuse triangle.
Hey there.
Obtuse triangle, what was the definition? Anybody remember? It's got 1 obtuse angle, right? So 1 obtuse angle. What is you guys remember what obtuse means? Greater than 90. Greater than 90 and less than 180, so greater than 90. All right, and 3 acute angles. Those are all less than 90, aren't they? Isosceles triangle we just talked about. Equiangular.
When the angles are the same?
Angula. Say that again?
The angles are the
Yeah, look, equilateral, that's the sides, equal. Equiangular, all the angles are the same, all right? So this has 3 congruent angles. And scalene triangle. Correct. No congruent sides. Short answer on page 2. Short answer number 1. It's a transformation problem. Transformation is described as for every xy, we're going to transform it so that the new x value is the opposite of the existing x, and the new y is the opposite of the existing y. And you're given a at -3,6. B is at -3,1. C is at 1,1. And D 1,6. All right, so A prime is just going to be, you're just going to find the opposite, or you're going to list the opposite of each of the xy values. So it's going to be at 3, negative 6. And B prime. Opposite of 3 is, or negative 3 is 3, and negative 1. What are the coordinates of C prime? Negative 1, negative 1, good. And how about D prime?
Negative 1, negative 6.
Very good. All right. Any questions there? Very good, very good. Problem number 2. Say again. I can't hear you. Yes, and you're going to identify it. So what, do you remember the table that you had in your notes the other day? So if you take all the x values and multiply by negative 1, and you take all the y values and multiply them by negative 1, do you remember what that transformation was? Was it a reflection or a rotation? You guys don't have your books out, do you? Okay, that was a rotation. All right. And if you can't remember it, I think the easiest thing to do is to graph it. When you took the xy and you transformed it to the opposite of x, opposite of y, that was a 180 rotation, 180 degree rotation. Okay? Here, write this down on that study guide, that when you did this, if you go xy to y negative x, that's a 90 degree rotation clockwise. And when your xy values are transformed negative y x, that's 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that transformation from the problem was a rotation of 180 degrees. Problem 2. Angle A here is 60 degrees. ABD is 75 degrees. And BDC is 25 degrees. And you're asked to classify triangle DBC by angle measure. All right, triangle DBC is this one up here. And you're missing, or you need some information. So if you look at this angle DBC right here, these two angles are a linear pair. All right, so if you take 180 and you subtract 75, you're left with 105 degrees. So this angle measure is 105 degrees. Now, do you guys remember or know what the angles in a triangle have to add up to?
180.
They have to add up to 180. So if you take 180 and you subtract 25, and then you subtract 105, you're left with 50 degrees, which is this angle. All right? So now, what kind of triangle is that if it's classified by angle measure? It's an obtuse triangle. Very good. If you were asked to classify triangle ABD by angle measure, you got a 60 and a 75, you don't know this third angle. So take 180 and subtract 60 and 75. .45 degrees. So what type of triangle is this one on the left? Very good, acute. All the angles are less than 90. Problem number 3 is a toughie. Well, somebody will get it wrong, because they try to bait you. Classify ABC by side lengths. Yeah. Triangle ABC by side lengths. Just glancing at it, somebody's going to look at it because it's got the 2 tick marks, and they're going to say it's an isosceles. 2 sides are the same. But in this case, this left side's 8, and the bottom is also 8, so it's got 3 congruent sides. It is angular relates to angles, right? So the other one relates to sides. So it's equilateral. The 2 terms you're going to deal with this week are equiangular and equilateral. Equiangular is easy to remember, right? Because it's got the word angle in it. Equal angles. So just remember the other one has to be sides. And the other one's equilateral. All right, number 4, it says a jeweler creates triangular medallions by bending pieces of silver wire. Each medallion is an equilateral triangle. Each side of the triangle is 3 centimeters long. How many medallions can be made from a piece of wire? So he's got a piece of wire that's 65 inches long. And then he's making these triangular shapes. And if each triangular shape is an equilateral triangle, it means all the sides are the same, and they're equal to 3, right? So how much wire does he need to make one of them?
9.
He needs 9 to make one. So if you take your 65 inches of wire and you divide it by 9, okay, how many can he make? He can make 7.2, but how many can he make?
7.
He can only make 7. All right? 65 divided by 9 is 7.2 repeating. But he can't make 0.2 of a medallion, so he can make 7 of them. All right, number 5 says that 2 sides of an equilateral triangle. What does equilateral mean?
All sides are equal.
All the sides are equal. Good. So yeah, what's that?
So that's a nice triangle.
Thank you. I've been practicing that for about 13 years now. Gotten really good at it. All right. Maybe highlight this in your study guide or in your notes or something like that, because this can be tricky or it can be really easy. 2 sides of an equilateral triangle have lengths of x plus 2 and negative 2x plus 20. Equilateral triangle. It means that all the sides are the same, right? What could be the length of the third side? Okay? And they give you two expressions to pick from. Well, look, if this left side is x plus 2, and it's equal to the right side, which is negative 2x plus 20, you can solve for x. So if you take x plus 2 and make it equal to negative 2x plus 20. If you add 2x to each side, then 3x plus 2 equals 20. If you subtract 2 from each side, then 3x is equal to 18. Very good. So if you divide by 3, then x is equal to 6. All right. Now, if x is equal to 6, how long is this side right here?
8.
It's 8 units long. So how long is this side going to be on the right? It's 8 units long. So the bottom piece has to be 8 units long. Now they're asking you, can the bottom be 14 minus x, or is the bottom 2x plus 4? Well, if you substitute the 6 in for the x, what's 14 minus 6? 8. What's 2 times 6? 12 plus 4. 16. It can't be this one, can it? All right, so it's got to be the 14 minus x. So solve for x, and then just substitute it into the two options. Okay? Problem number 6 is another transformation problem, where all of your xy's are going to get transformed so that you're going to subtract 6 from the x's and you're going to add 2 to the y's. So now, E is at 3, 0. F is at 1, negative 2. And G is at 5, negative 4. All right, so E prime would be located at, what is 3 minus 6? Negative 3. And 0 plus 2 is 2. F prime, negative 5, and good. And G prime, good. All right, so what kind of transformation is that? When everything, this x minus 6, where does that move the shape? Remember the x-axis? The x-axis goes left and right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The y-axis goes up and down. So if you're subtracting 6 from all your x's, where's the shape moving? Left 6, correct?
Yes.
And if you're adding 2 to all the y's, where's it going? Good. So this is left 6 and up 2. And that is a transformation? Very good. Number 7. Legs of an isosceles triangle. The legs, those are the congruent sides. The legs of an isosceles triangle have legs of x plus 1 and negative x plus 7. The base length is 3x minus 3. What is the length of the base? So they're asking for the length of this side. In order to find the length of this side, you need to know the value of x. So if you take the two sides that are equal to each other, which is your x plus 1 and you make it equal to negative x plus 7. If you add x to each side, two x plus 1 equals 7. And if you subtract 1 from each side, 2x equals 6. You can divide by 2, and x is equal to 3. If you use your x equals 3 and you substitute it for this x, you got 3 times 3 minus 3. So 9 minus 3, right?
6.
So that side is 6 units long. Questions? Number 8 is the same type of problem, but they actually give you the picture. So in number 8, the left side is equal to the right side, so 2x plus 9 is equal to 3x plus 6. You would solve for x, and then substitute it in for the 6x plus 5. So if you subtract 2x here, nine is equal to x plus 6, and subtract 6 from each side. 3 is equal to x. They're asking for side AB. AB right now is equal to 6x plus 5. So you're going to do 6 times 3 plus 5, and that's 23. So side AB is equal to 23. And that's the end of your study guide.